fortunate, so lucky that Jamalamadka Srinivas Garu, Dr. Jamalamadka Srinivas Garu, who also is actually a Vakartha scholar, is available for us today. We would not have got him if it happened the way it happened with all the scholars who were there in the Ganapati Vakyartha Sadasya Sringeri. Fortunately, he is available for us today. Both the brothers, the Jamalamadka brothers, Jamalamadka Srinivas Garu and Jamalamadka Suryanarayana Garu, like Professor V.N. Jha, they are also committed to spread the Shastra knowledge among contemporary audience. One good fortune is that both of them are articulate in English also. Traditional scholars from the Shastriya Parampara are very rarely, at least oriented towards using English as a means of communication. But both the brothers, Dr. Jamalamadka Srinivas Garu and Dr. Jamalamadka Suryanarayana Garu, are not averse to communicating in English. And using that, they are conducting classes, online classes, to targeting contemporary audience. So if any of you are interested in attending their Nyaya classes, they will share their number, they will share their website address also. They are conducting online classes for general public. They are not meant for Shastra scholars. They are meant for corporate people, advocates, judges, and anyone who is interested in formal knowledge of Nyaya. I don't say politicians and parliamentarians because they are not interested. Whenever they conduct some classes also for parliamentarians, both at the assembly level, at the parliament level, I never saw invitation to scholars like Nyaya scholars like Jamalamadka Srinivas Garu. So let us hope, as Professor V.N. Jha was rightly lamenting, that let us hope that this country will be awakened to the reality that these politicians, these parliament members, these assembly members also need this knowledge, and all these TV debaters. See, the model that they are setting for the youngsters from the TV debate is such obnoxious model that they are setting. I think there is a great need for classes like those of Jamalamadka Srinivas Garu. Please join his classes. Now he has taken up a challenging topic of studying the Shastra book writing style and the influence of the Vaada tradition on that writing style. I was told from my childhood that the thesis, antithesis, and synthesis style of classical Greek tradition influenced the Western academic writing, but no one ever tells in any college or school that our Shastriya book writing style was influenced by our Vaada style. Now, with evidence, Dr. Jamalamadka Srinivas Garu is going to prove how our Shastra book writing is influenced by Vaada.
Thank you, Paturi Garu. Shuklam Radharam Vishtum Shashivarnam Chaturbhusam Prasannavadaram Dhyajet Sarvavighnopashantaya Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I first of all thank Paturi Garu and Harikiranji for giving me this opportunity and even suggesting a very needed topic. The influence of Vaada system on the style of writing in Sanskrit Shastric works. So, I think V.N. Jha gave a very good introduction about what actually Vaada is. So I'll just go through what Vaada is, the introductory content very briefly. So what is Vaada? So Vaada is one among the three types of katha. Tisrah katha bhavanti vado jalpo vitanda cheti. So this is the Vatsyayana Bhashya of the Nyaya Sutras, which states that there are three types of katha. So that is Vada, Jalpa and Vitanda. So what is a katha? Katha is Nanavaktrika Purvottara Vakya Sandarbha. That means the exchange of the sentence or knowledge. Sentence is essentially the source of knowledge considered in a diverse conversation with various speakers. So at least there should be two or more speakers. That is why it is used Nanavaktrika Purvottara Vakya Sandarbha. So it is a exchange of an exchange of knowledge through the verbal exchange. So that is katha. It is not the katha. So normally the word katha is associated to story. In the Alankara Shastra, the definition of katha is different. That is Bahvanrita Stoka Satya Katha. So wherein very little amount of truth is there and lot of imagination or lot of kalpana, fabrication is there. That is mentioned, that is defined to be a katha. That is essentially a story or a fiction based anything oriented work. But here katha is a typical, it is a technical term in Nyaya Shastra for dialogue. So there are three types of kathas, that is Vada, Jalpa and Vitanda. I wish to actually take one of the constituents of Vada, which is prevalent in all the three types of katha, and see that, at least explore that how this constituent is influencing, or it is evident that it is used in all the works in the Shastra predominantly. So what is Vada? Pramana Tarka Sadhana Upalambha Siddhanta Aviruddha Panchavayava Upapannaha Paksha Pratipaksha Parigraha Vadaha. So we have four, in four divisions that with the adjectives, the Vada is being defined. So Pramana Tarka Sadhana Upalambha. So one can use Pramana and Tarka as Sadhana. So means of proof, that is in supporting or condemning, in order to establish one's own viewpoint or in order to condemn the opponent's viewpoint. The means of proof and reasoning can be tarka and pramana can be used. Siddhanta aviruddha. So it should not go against the main doctrine or the fundamental understanding or the axioms of that particular Vadi which he belongs to, which school that he belongs. So he cannot go against his own axioms, and in order to put forth one's own viewpoint or to condemn the opponent's viewpoint, he can use the Panchavayava system, that is the usage of the five-membered syllogism to support or condemn. So I'll be exploring on this Panchavayava Upapatti, or the usage of Panchavayava, which is very much essential in Vada, Jalpa and Vitanda, and how it influences in the Shastric writings. And Paksha Pratipaksha Parigraha. So put forward the conception and a counter conception. So as even Professor Jha has actually elaborated upon that. So there will be one common subject upon which there will be contradictions, drastic contradictions of the two sides, and the Vada will go until the truth is arrived at, because the purpose of Vada is Tattvabhutsoho Katha Vada. So this is what Annam Bhatta says. Tattvabhutsoho. The main purpose of Vada is to ascertain the essence of any subject. So until they arrive at the truth, the real essence of that particular subject, the Vada continues. So it is not essential that the Vada will be there only for a day or two or something. It may go to till years and years. So that is what we have seen even by the commentaries. We have this great parampara of commentaries which actually support and refute. Both the commentaries are available for works like Advaita Siddhi and all. It is said that there are around 9 commentaries where alternatively one is of the Advaitins viewpoint, the other is of the Dvaitins viewpoint, which actually condemn the Advaitins viewpoint. So it goes on like that. So until they come to arrive to the truth, the Vada actually continues. So what is Jalpa? Yathoktopapannaha Chala Jati Nigrahasthana Sadhanopalambha Jalpaha. So Yathokta Upapannaha. That means it has, Jalpa has all the characteristics of Vada. That means you can the usage of Pramana and Tarka in order to establish or condemn the viewpoints. Usage of Panchavayava and uh, the other this thing, that is you cannot go against your siddhanta or prime doctrine and etc. And in addition to the characteristics of Vada, Jalpa has this usage of Chala, Jati and Nigraha sthanas. So supporting or condemning can be done by the usage of Chala, Jati and Nigraha sthanas. So Chala, Jati and Nigraha sthanas are instruments where you can actually twist the meaning of the words or ascertain the unintended meaning to the words of the opponent, or giving another kind of interpretations of one's own previous statement and etc. So we are having an elaborate session, I suppose, upon Chalajatis by my brother. So I'll not go deeper into that. And what is the purpose of Jalpa? It is Vijigishu Katha Jalpa. So the main purpose of Jalpa is victory over the opponent. So in the main here, the objective, the focus is on victory, and hence Chalajati Nigraha sthanas can be used. That means you can, by hook or crook, you can actually you are interested, your main objective behind this discourse or dialogue would be to win over the opponent. So here actually we can bring in a very contemporary example, that is the courtrooms, wherein the advocate's main primary job is to actually bring victory or be victorious of his own client. So that is their job actually. So if we actually
There seems to be some connectivity problem. I think he will be rejoining. He seems to have got disconnected, and he will join back in a few minutes. We have a very big row of wonderful scholars and a very big feast for the day of wonderful topics today. Before Dr. Srinivas joins back, let me tell you that we have Jammalamadaka Suryanarayana Garu, Dr. R. Venkatraghavan, Dr. Tilak Rao, Professor Jayaraman, and Dr. Ketu Ramchandra Shekhar, and finally a very young girl from United States, Dr. Sripada Indrakanti, going to be presenting today. And after Dr. Srinivas Garu, Dr. Sunan Garu will be presenting on the role of Chala and Jati in Indian debating technique.
I came back. Can I continue?
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
sure.
I'm sorry, there was a power short cut here. So, yeah. So, so Jalpa is actually a state wherein in the courtrooms we see that the advocates, they actually use this Jalpa. They are actually intended to use this kind of a Vaada, that is Jalpa Katha. So, wherein the main objective would be the victory of their client, and in hence to do that, they give different interpretations to different kinds of laws and etc., or the sections that they actually refer to. And then there is Vitanda, that is Saha Pratipaksha Sthapanahinaha Vitandaha. So Vitanda has all the characteristics of Jalpa, and it doesn't has one characteristic, that is there is no paksha pratipaksha parigraha vadaha. So we had this, that there will be two viewpoints contradicting upon the same subject. So this will not be there in Jalpa. That is, the person, a Vaitandika, that means who actually employs the usage of Vitanda, doesn't put forth his viewpoint, and he is only interested, or he is only focusing upon refuting the opponent's viewpoint. So that is the why the purpose is Swapaksha Sthapanahina Parapaksha Vidalana Matravasana Vitanda. So the main purpose of Vitanda is to find fault in the opponent's argument through which victory is achieved. So he is only intended to refute the opponent. So this is an overview, that is Vaada. I mean, the constituents of Vaada are there in even in Jalpa, but Jalpa has other usage of Chalajati Nigraha Sthanas, and Vitanda doesn't has this putting forth one's own what you call viewpoint, but it has all the other constituents of Vada, that is usage of Panchavajava, not going against one's own Siddhanta and etc. So here I wish to focus upon the Panchavajava, usage of Panchavajava or the Avayava technique. So what is Avayava? Avayava Vakya is a component of a logical argument. So in order to put forth an argument in a structured manner, in a logical way, so they have designed a technique called Avayava system, so which is also called as Nyaya. Avayava Samudayaha Nyaya. So the word Nyaya also means the group of Avayava Vakyas is also called as Nyaya. So Pararthanumana Vakyaika Desha Bhutaha Pratiknyadayaha Avayavaha. So where this Avayava Vakyas are used? They are used in the Pararthanumana in order to so the inferences of two types. You infer by yourself for yourself, or you use or you infer for others. So in order to prove something through inference to others other than yourself, the usage of Panchavayava is very much needed. So this Avayava, the system of Avayava is needed. So the total number of Avayava Vakyas differ actually. The Prachina Nayayikas state in Nyaya Bhashya, we come through that there are 10 Avayava Vakyas. That is Jignasa, Samshayaha, Shakya Praptihi, Yojanam, Prayojanam, I'm sorry, there is a typo. Samshaya Vyudasaha, Pratignya Hetuhu, Udaharanam, Upanayaha, and Nigamanam. So the last 5 are very much they're very much used in other systems. The first 5 actually they describe the background of inference. When do you have inference? When you have samshaya, when you have jignasa. So all these things. So they were also considered to be avayava vakyas by the Prachina Nayayikas. But the Navya Nayayikas, they took only 5. That is why the usage of Panchavayava. Here we have to see that what I meant by Navya Nayayikas is that there is something called as another classification of Nayayikas as Jaran Nayayika, Prachina Nayayika, Navya Nayayika. So here, if we take the Jaran Nayayikas, they are older than the Prachina Nayayikas. We find it very less actually. Not much of their works are available, but we find this usage of 10 Avayava Vakyas in Nyaya Bhashya itself, and then they use this Panchavayava Upapannaha in the Nyaya Sutra. So then we come to know that there is an older school to the Prachina Nyaya. So compared to that, again this Prachina Nyaya can also be called as Navya Nyaya. And throughout the Navya Nayayikas or the Nyaya system actually accepts this Panchavayava Vakyas, that there are 5 sentences or 5 Vakyas structured in one after the another, And this actually is a scientific method of putting forth one's own viewpoint. So pratigna, hetuhu, udaharanam, upanayaha, and nigamanam. And later, if we actually see the Purva Mimamsakas or the Uttar Mimamsakas or the Vedantins, they actually accept only three Avayava Vakyas, that is Pratigna, Hetu, and Udaharana, or Udaharana, Upanaya, and Nigamana. The difference between the number of Avayava Vakyas is based upon the process of inference that they agree. So, how does inference happen? Is in a very classical example, you see smoke in a mountain, so which is called as Pakshadharmata Jnanam. So, this knowledge of smoke in a mountain triggers the Vyapti Jnana or the invariable concomitance between the smoke and the fire. That wherever there is smoke, there is fire. So, this is called as Vyapti Jnana. And after this Pakshadharmata Jnana and Vyapti Jnana, then actually comes something, a knowledge called Paramarsha, which actually establishes the relation between fire, smoke, and the mountain, which is called as Paramarsha. Vanhivyapya Dhumavan Parvataha. So this is the Paramarsha. So after this Paramarsha knowledge, the inference, that is Parvataha Vanhiman, the inference, their inferential knowledge called Parvato Vanhiman happens. So this is the process that the Nayayikas accept. So, in order to establish all these, that the Paramarsha Jnana, they need five, what you call, Avayava Vakyas. So, what is the first Pratigna? Is the first, you state your actually the Siddhanta or your conclusion, the conclusion statement, the conclusive statement, and the first proposition or the first statement, opening statements would be actually the same. So you state that first it is Parvato Vanhiman. Then arises a question that why? Based upon which cause that you are stating that Parvato, that the mountain is having fire. Then you state the Hetu, that is Dhumat. Then again you give a reference to it, that is Udaharana. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire, as so and so, somewhere in the kitchen or etc. Yatha Mahanasaha. And then again you establish this relation between the fire, smoke, and the mountain in the Upanaya. Tathacha ayam. That means even this mountain has smoke which is pervaded by the fire. And then hence tasmat tatha. Hence the smoke has fire. So this is the Panchavayava system where you have which is called as Utthita Kanksha Paddhati. So the statements are made in such a way that natural zeal emerges. That is, you state you are not able to see fire, but you state that there is fire. So then, hence, a natural zeal arises. How can you state that? So a natural question arises. So this jignasa happens naturally. So this is called as Utthita Kanksha Paddhati. That is in the Panchavayava system. And the Uttaramimamsakas or the Purvamimamsakas, they have a different process of Anumana where they don't have this Paramarsha needed. They state that if you have the Pakshadharmata Jnana, that is the knowledge of fire being in the mountain, and the Smriti, Vyapti Smarana, that is the knowledge of invariable concomitance between fire and the smoke. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. Then directly Anumana, Anumiti can happen. That means the inference can happen. So there is no need of Paramarsha Jnana, is what is their stand. So hence, they don't need 5 Avayava Vakyas, only 3 Avayava Vakyas suffice. So this is the Parvato Vanhiman, Dhumavatvat, Yoyo Dhumavan Savanhiman Yatha Mahanasam, Tatha Chayam, Tasmat Tatha. So the hill is fiery because it smokes. Wherever there is smoke, I mean, it is fiery like the kitchen. So the hill smokes, therefore it is fiery. So this is how the Panchavayava system actually emerges. So I just took 2 examples to show that how this Panchavayava system is used in Shastric texts. And not only Panchavayava system, but there are some other components of Vaada, that has identification of Hetva Bhasas also happen in the Shastric writing. So this is a very famous topic in Tarkasangraha Deepika, that is the Tamo Vaada, whether tamas or the darkness, whether it is a separate dravya or not. So this is a contradiction between the Nayayikas and the Mimamsakas. So the Mimamsakas state that the darkness is a separate entity, like light. Darkness is a separate entity, but the Nayayikas state that it's a separate entity and a dravya. And Nayayikas do not agree. They say that it is non-existence of light that is darkness, and there is nothing called as darkness separately other than the non-existence of the light. So Nayayika state that there are only 9 dravyas. Tatra dravyani, Prithivyatejo Vayuvakasha Kala Digatma Manamsi Navaiva. So there are only 9. Navaiva. So the word eva is used, stating that there is no more, or there is no 10th dravya other than these 9. That is Prithvi, Up, Tejas, Vayu, Akasha, Kala, Dik, Atma, and Manas. So there are 9 dravyas. Apart from these, there are no other dravyas. Is the starting, the understanding of, or the Siddhanta of the Nayayikas. So this is the actual text actually. So Tatra Dravyadi Madhye. So this is the Tarkasangraha Deepika is a self-commentary by Annam Bhattacharya for his own work Tarkasangraha. So Dravyadi Madhye. Tatra Dravyani is the word used in the Tarkasangraha, and in Deepika we find this. Dravyadi Madhye Dravyani Navaivetyanvayaha. So there are only 9 dravyas. Kanitani ityaha Prithvivyadi. So then arises Nanu Tamasaha Dashamadravyasya Vidyamanatvat Katham Navaiva Dravyani. So then the Mimamsakas come and say that there is a tamas, or the andhakara, or the darkness, which is a Dashamadravya, which is the 10th dravya. And how can you state that there are only 9 but not more than that? So then they use this Panchavayava system, the Purva Mimamsakas. So the Panchavayava system is used by the opponent and by the both the parties use the Panchavayava system. So I just try to convert this into how it will be used in the Panchavayava can be used. So I've just tried to put it in a different way, as it is a dialogue. So Dravyani Navaiva. So the red actually color dialogue. So the bubble represents Nayayikas, and the blue color bubble represents the Mimamsakas. So Dravyani Navaiva is the first pratigna or the Siddhanta of the Nayayikas. So then Tamasaha Dashamadravyasya Vidyamanatvat Katham Navaiva Dravyani is the question arised by the Mimamsaka, and he further actually proves it. How? So there are two things that the Mimamsakas have to prove, that tamas is a dravya, and it is a dravya which cannot be included in the 9 accepted dravyas. So there are 2 things that the Mimamsaka has to do actually. So first he has to establish that tamas is a dravya. So what is the definition of dravya is Gunavattam va Kriyavattam va Dravyasya Lakshanam. So that there are 24 gunas that are said in accepted by the Nayayikas, that is Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha, and etc. So wherever you find any of these gunas, that is a dravya, and wherever there is action, that is a dravya. So this is the definition of dravya. So first they put forth that through the Panchavayava system. Tamaha dravyam Neela Rupa Vattavat. So here we have Tamaha Dravyam is the Pratigna, and Neela Rupa Vattavad is the Hetu. And based upon this, we can actually build the Panchavayavas here. So wherever there is Neela Rupam, there is Dravyam. Neela Rupam means blue color. There is Dravyam, Dravyatvam. And like a ghata or a pot, a blue pot. And then Upanaya and Nigamana also. So by stating this, he proved that it is a Dravyam. And Tamaha Dravyam Kriyashrayatvat. It is also has Kriya. Neelan Tamas Chalati. So when in the darkness, well, once or else the shadow which actually comes with us, which actually follows us, shadow is also is a one kind of a darkness, is one kind of tamas. So it actually follows us. So it is having action. So whatever is having action is also a dravya. So hence the Mimamsakas take this Panchavayava system and prove that it is a Dravya. And then the Nayayika state, okay, it may be a Dravya, but let it be included in the 9 Dravyas which have been accepted upon. That is, Bhavatu Dravyam Klipta Dravyeshveva Antarbhavatu. So I have just transformed that textual this thing into how would it be if we actually do it in a conversation. How would a Vada had happened based upon that text? Bhavatu dravyam kripta dravyeshveva antarbhavatu. So let the tamas be a dravya, but let it be included in the 9 accepted dravyas. So then he says no, tamas cannot be accepted or included in the 9 dravyas because it is separate from them. So he says first tamaha na akashadi panchake. So in order to prove that it doesn't come under the 9 accepted dravyas, you have to prove, you have to show cause. I mean, based on which cause that you say that it does not include in the accepted dravyas. So first he uses this pratigna. Tamaha na akashadi panchake antarbhavati rupavatva. So tamas is having rupam, that is color, that is black color. So akashadi panchakam, that is akasha, kala, dik, atma and manas. So these 5 do not have rupam or color, but tamas has color, and hence tamas cannot be considered or cannot be included in the akashadi 5 akasha, kala, dik, atma and manas. In these 5 dravyas, tamas cannot be included. So here we can actually draw a panchavayava or avayava vakyas here. Again, tamaha na vayuantarbhavati sparsha bhavat sadagatimatva bhavacha. So even tamas cannot be included in vayu because it does not have sparsha, that is touch, and it does not move every time. Sadagatimatva means vayu or the air actually moves everywhere every time. It doesn't move every time. So hence it cannot be included in vayu. Tamaha tejas in antarbhavati, it cannot be included in tejas because tejas has something, a peculiar color called bhasvara shukla rupam. So bhasvara shukla rupam means a color which illuminates other objects in its presence. So when there is a light, so light actually illuminates the other objects. So this illuminating nature is called is because of bhasvara rupa, bhasvara shukla rupa of tejas, and ushna sparsha, that is heat. These both are there in tejas, and tamas does not have these both. So bhasvara rupa bhavat ushna sparsha bhavat tamah tejas antarbhavati. So tamas cannot be included into tejas. And further, tamas cannot be included in jala because it does not has shita sparsha or cold touch, and it does not have and it also has neela rupa or black color. But according to Tarkashastra, water has a color which is called as abhasvara shukla rupa, that is transparent color. So it is transparent in nature, but this has black color. So hence it cannot be considered to be jala or counted in jala. And even tamaha, prithvivyam na antarbhavati, it cannot be concluded or it cannot be included as a parthiva dravya because parthiva dravya has gandha or smell, and tamas does not have smell, and it sparsha rahitatvacha. So it does not have any sparsha or touch. Prithvi has touch. So by all these hetus, you can understand that tamas cannot be included in the accepted 9 dravyas. Hence, as it cannot be accepted in the 9 dravyas, tamas is a independent dravya or an extra dravya apart from these 9 accepted dravyas. So tamaha atiriktam dravyam. So it is an independent dravya because it cannot be klipta dravyeshu anantarbhutatva. It cannot be included in all the 9 dravyas, and it is a dravya that has been proven through the 2 causes. So in all these anumana prayogas, which we call them as anumana prayogas, tamaha na akashadi panchake antarbhavati rupavatvat is called as an anumana prayoga, where you have this pratigna and hetu. So each and every usage Anumana Prayoga can actually be again fragmented or can be developed into Panchavayava Vakya. So here we have 5 Panchavayava or 6 Panchavayava Vakyas. So that is 6 sets of Panchavayava Vakyas in order to put forth the Mimamsaka's viewpoint. So they have used that. So upon this, again the Nayayikas refute stating Tamaha na atiriktam dravyam. So they again come and contradict with the, so the Mimamsakas have put forth their viewpoint using the Panchavayava syllogism. They used Tarka and what you call, that means the reasoning and logic and reasoning in order to put forth their, so each and everywhere you find logic, reasoning, and you find the structured way of putting one forth, and they don't go against their axiom. So all these things, all the elements of Vada are actually prevalent here. And then again, Nayayikas refute stating Tamaha na atiriktam dravyam. Tamas is not a separate entity. Why? Because Tamaha na rupa vishishtam dravyam aloka asahakrita chakshurgrahyatvat aloka bhavavat. So Tamas is not a dravya which has color in it. Rupa vishishtam dravyam. That means a dravya which has color in it. Because whatever dravya or an object which has color, in order to actually perceive through our eyes, we need aloka or light in order to have perceive that particular object. But tamas, when there is light, you cannot actually see the darkness. So it does not come under this logic of whatever has color. In order to perceive through eyes, you need to have light. So it does not actually fit into this logic, and hence you can state that there is no rupam, there is no color in darkness. And even they stated that tamas is a dravya because it has chalanatmaka kriya. That means it has action. As we move, even our shadow follows us. So this is action. So they say this is nothing but the illusion. I mean, there is action in yourself, not in your shadow. So it actually normally happens while we travel in a train or somewhere, that the moon actually travels with us. So we have this Brahma illusion. So there actually we move, not the moon, but the action is implied upon the moon. In the same way, actually the darkness does not move. It is the object of the darkness that moves, and hence it is we have this bhranti or illusion that even that moves. So these both have been refuted by again usage of tarka and sadhana, reasoning and logic. So then comes the question, kim nama tarhi tamaha? Then that is praudha prakashaka tejas samanya bhava. So it is nothing but the non-existence of light. So that itself is tamas. It is not more than that. So this is what is one tasmad dravyani navai vedisiddham. So you see, again he came to the the Nayayikas established that there are only 9 dravyas and not more than 9 dravyas are there. So by refuting tamas being a 10th dravya. So this is one this thing. Paturi sir, can I go further or shall I stop here? I mean, I think the time has exceeded. So there is another example that I've taken from Tarkasangra Deepika, that is Suvarnasya Taijasatvam, whether Suvarna or gold.
I think you'll be concluding in 5 or 6 minutes, right?
Yes, just 3 to 4 minutes, not more than that.
Yeah.
So this is another example that I've taken from the same work of Tarkasangra Deepika, where the whether gold or metal, Suvarna is actually Upalakshana. So that is any metal, whether that belongs to Tejas Dravya or not. So normally in Tarka Shastra, the metals are classified as Taijasa Dravyas. So they belong to the category of Tejas Dravya and not Parthiva Dravya. They don't belong to the, they are not classified as a Parthiva Dravya. So here we have again a logical way of putting forth how Suvarna can be considered to be a Taijasa Dravya. So Suvarnam Taijasam is the understanding of the Nayayikas. Then comes the Purva Pakshi. Here we don't have a particular Purva Pakshi like we had in Tamo Vaada, like Mimamsaka. Here comes a Purva Pakshi and states, no, Suvarnam is Parthivam. It belongs to the category of Prithvi because it has Pita Rupa, that is gold color, and Pita Rupa. So it has golden color, and Haridradivat. So like the turmeric has a similar color to turmeric, as turmeric is considered to be a Parthiva because of its particular Haridra, Pita Varna or yellowish color. And same even the Suvarna also has yellowish color. And yellow color is only there in Prithvi. And hence, Suvarna is also, it also belongs to Prithvi Dravya and it is not Taijasa. So here we have a contradiction again. So Paksha Pratipaksha Parigraha. And then again, the Nayayikas refute, stating that Suvarna is not Parthiva. Suvarnam na Parthivam. Asati Pratibandhake Atyantana Rasanyoge Sati Anuchidyamana Dravattvadikaranatvad Jalamadhyastha Gratavatu. So if you put this metal, any metal, gold or any metal into fire, it actually melts and does not evaporate or does not turn into ash. Wherein, if it is a Prithvi Dravya, like Ghrita or ghee, if you put it into Ghrita or ghee in its natural form, it is semi-solid, it is not liquid. When you put it into fire, it turns into liquid and even evaporates or gets vanished. But Suvarna, in the case of metal or in the case of gold, it does not happen. And hence, it is similar to something where if you put a ghee pot in a vessel where there is a Jalamadhyastha Ghritam, that means in water, if you put ghee, then the ghee does not evaporate. So if there is a Pratibandhaka, I mean, there is a difference between being a Parthiva Dravya and being a Taijasa Dravya. If it is a Parthiva Dravya, then if you put it in the fire directly, then the Parthiva Dravya evaporates or vanishes. But coming to the Taijasa Dravya, if you put it into fire, it does melt, but it does not get vanished. So keeping this logic in mind, they state that it is not a Parthiva Dravya, it is not Parthiva Dravya. But again comes another question that the color of Suvarna, gold, is peculiar to, or it is confined to Prithvi Dravya, Parthiva Dravya, only because only in Prithvi you have all the 7 kinds of Varnas or colors, and if it is a Taijasa Dravya, you have only Bhaswara Shukla Rupa, which you don't see in Suvarna. So then they say that Suvarna or metal is an amalgamation of 2 dravyas, that is Prithvi Dravya and Taijasa Dravya, and because of this Taijasa Dravya, that it does not get evaporated or vanished while you put it into fire. And hence, through this logic, they again state that it is Taijasa. So in this way, the 5-membered syllogism or the Panchavayava Vakya or the Trayavayava Vakyas are used. There is, again, if you see, there is usage of all the components of Vaada are prevalent in these textual works of Shastras. So this is what Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit Tat Guroreva Merahi, Yadatra Asaushthavam Kinchit Tan Mamaiva Name Guru. So I once again thank Patri Garu for giving me this opportunity.
There is one question from one Sri Narendra Kumar ji. Can we equate the inferential knowledge in Nyaya Shastra with the prediction philosophy, which is used in almost every phase of science and technology? He is continuing it with another question, like the predictive modeling plays a vital role in machine learning and neural network.
Yes. Actually, they in machine learning, I suppose they train the system by the inference process only, but there is maybe a difference. The process is the same, but there shall be a difference, I suppose, in establishing the Vyapti Jnana. I mean, we have this Vyapti Jnana system 2 ways, that is Bhuyo Darshana and Sakrit Darshana. So whether you can establish a Vyapti or invariable concomitance between two things, X and Y, upon multiple experiences, or a single experience can also establish, but it is moreover the inferential process, I think, is the same and can be applied everywhere in the scientific writings or anyway.
So I think that has answered Narendra Kumar Garu. Now, thank you very much, Srinivas Garu, for showing how all the Shastriya book writing has Panchavayava system, or sometimes not, if not all the Panchavayava, at least some of them are employed in the book writing style of Indian Shastric book writing. Someone was suggesting, Krishna Chaitanya ji was suggesting, that based on all this, we should develop our own style manual, like Chicago style manual. We should also develop a style manual for book writing. That was a good suggestion. Thank you, Krishna Chaitanya Garu.